We have now put in low enough moves that we are on the downswing. So we will look for, at this point, we should see lower highs on crude for a while, or we will consolidate between somewhere where we are now and this 75.50 range. So 75.50 is still likely to hold our market. So crude is back into bearish territory as we have broken below the prior swing low. So first time we've done that in a long time on crude. So for today, we are looking for shorts. Now crude, we are down well below the open price line from last week. And from that OPL from last week, we have been below the Orion signal and the daily cycle marker. By being below those two, we are definitely favoring the short. When we get a pullback up, at some point we would expect to see resistance in the market first at 64.86 and then back up into 66.21. So if we get a pullback up, which at some point we will, we'll watch for shorting off of those two price levels. All right, so let's see where we're going to continue to go to. So crude looking for short here on the daily. No question about it. Big short on the daily. Let's drop down to let's see here, 30. Crude on the 30 minute. Let's get a glance at where we're at on this bad boy. All right, so crude down on the 30. We had an inverted zone last week. The market's down. All right, we've come out of the chop zone, and crude on the 30, we are well below the moving average. On the 30 minute, we're currently in a sideways move. We have a very narrow range of the market. So right now, to bracket our market, our bracket would be here. So on the 30 minute, we were expecting to see crude push lower into 1 o'clock today. We've been below this line the whole time. We have not closed a bar below the prior swing low. Right now, we're 20 minutes from closing this bar, and we are pushing up above the prior swing high. So the possibility is here that we have a breakout long. However, we are still below the moving average, and we have a trend stalker level coming in right there at 63.22. 63.22 is going to be a short. So right now we would have a short entry opportunity at 63.22 on the crude. We'll keep a close eye out for that one. This one's going to require 20 cents of risk. It's what it would take. 63.22 up into 42. Be just above the moving average. Is it worth it to trade off of that price level? There's our swing there. Swing low is coming back into the market here at 57. That means our profit target off of this one would have to be here. Profit target's got to be right there. Would it be worth it to trade it? Yeah, I think it would. 80 from the entry at 23. So we'd be looking for 43 cents, risking 20. So just a little over a 2-to-1 risk ratio off of this thing over on the crude. So crude looking for a short off of a Hail Mary on the 30 minute. Still favoring a short as of right this moment. We'll see what happens here. I'm expecting we're going to tap that level and probably fall right back down in the same bar. So it's going to be a quick little trade. 1 o'clock this afternoon off of 1 o'clock. Wow. All right, so let's see where the market is as we're coming into 1 o'clock. We had a 60-40 through here. We had a 60% chance we would pull lower. 40% by default we would push back up. So far the market has spent most of its time below the open price line and in the controlling bar range, or in that range. Now we are seeing a small punch up again, and if we close above here in 18 minutes, if the market should close above this area, this would be potentially an inversion coming into play. So I'm going to watch closely around that Hail Mary short entry. So if the market punches up and comes right back down inside, then we're probably going to roll back down into 1 o'clock. Otherwise, closing above and closing above the Hail Mary puts us back up into 1 o'clock, and that would give us a higher move. So we would see a move back up in the moving average and potentially back up into 63. We have an untested open price line right there, 63.59. So we'll see where we end up going. 4 o'clock or 1 o'clock this afternoon. Off of 1 o'clock this afternoon, we have a power zone buy. We're going to be looking for the move higher, 1 o'clock in the afternoon. And this move is expected to take us for the next, the rest of the week. So today, off of 1 o'clock, right now, the histogram says we should see a move back up. So the 30 at the moment, we'll see where we end up going. Now, the thing is, if this market pushes up this morning, and if we push up into 1 o'clock, and if the market continues to push higher into 1 o'clock on the 30, we potentially could form a pattern 5. We do have swing areas coming in here, so basically anything above where we are right now, if we continue higher, would put us into a pattern 5, which would give us a move down for the rest of the week. So let's see where the market's going to be here in the next hour or two. So for right this moment, we are still favoring the short. We are in a breakout area. We do have one last short entry right above us at the Hail Mary. And if we tap the Hail Mary, that's a reasonably low risk, and it's 20 cents. So for a 30-minute chart. And then we'll see. We're expecting to see the underlying trend back down into 1 o'clock. The market closing above here or closing above the Hail Mary would still put us on the downside. We are still below the moving average, but we're kind of in a transition looking period here. So crude on the 30 looks like it's trying to make a pullback this morning. We'll see if they succeed. Right now, we are still favoring the short off this Hail Mary coming up in just a few minutes if we get there. So look for crude on the 15. All right, and on the 15, see what we're going to get there. Okay, so crude 15 chart. 15's been a little mixed up. We had 1230. We were looking for the move until 140 or 1245 today. This one came in yesterday afternoon. So yesterday morning at 1230. And from 1230, actually I'm wrong. That was Friday. Yeah, that was Friday. So 1230 Friday afternoon. So we saw the initial move down into Sunday. Pull back up. Hail Mary. Target attained. So we had a successful Hail Mary trade right there. This one rolled all the way back down, got into its profit target, coming in at 3 o'clock Monday morning. So nice little move. We went back up from there, had a small pullback, and now we've seen crude actually inverted miracles. Weird. Not weird, but just a lot going on. Hang on one second, guys. So we inverted the move. Once we inverted the move, I say we inverted. Did we actually? Well, the swing high was here. No, man, it was so close. That is so close. Unreal how close that is. The market pulled all the way back up. We tested the prior swing high. Again, this swing high was in place right before the time of the signal. And as the market came into that time frame, we punched through it, bounced off. We punched through it, closed one bar above, bounced off, and came all the way back down again. Now we've been sideways. We have retested the prior swing low within just a couple of pennies as of this morning, and now the market's trying to give us a rally back. So we're back up right this moment into the open price line of the short zone. We did not close 2 bars above. We only closed 1, and then we saw a really strong pullback down. So crude still on its move back down. We're back into resistance right now at 63.21, open price line bounce. Let's see where the market, let's see if we're going to continue to hold this resistance. We've been below this price level all but this one short period of time. So there was one very short period of time right there where we got above it. The rest of the time we have been below that OPL. Now OPL is coming into resistance in the market again. So let's see where we're going to end up pushing to. So we're expecting to see this one roll back down into 1245 today. We are still favoring the short on the 15. 1245, we are looking for a pullback up. We're going to see the condition of the market coming into there. Off of 1245, watch for the push back up into 1230 tomorrow morning. So the 1245 signal today likely to run for the next 24 hours. Let's see where the market ends up going. So crude back up into resistance at the moment. We'll see if it's going to roll back over. So still favoring the short here on the crude. We would only be favoring the long if this market gets back above here. So the market has to get back here and close above that price. It could happen, but it's got 2 hours. If it does it in the next couple of hours, if crude pushes higher now into 1245, good possibility we would end up with a pattern 5 reversal, and then we'd look for the move down from there. So let's see what's going to happen. We're barely above the moving average. We're back to the open price line resistance in the market. Let's see if resistance is going to hold here at 63.21. So favoring the short on the daily, the 30, and the 15. If we look down to the 3, really? Okay. What is going on with this thing? Acting up a little bit today. All right. So looking over onto the 3. Came out of a chop zone at 306. We were looking for the move down to 918. We had a 60-40 through this time frame, so 60% chance we'd pull lower, 40% chance we'd pull back up. As we came through here, the market has been up, the market's been down. Where was our prior range? Okay, this thing's been sideways. Swing indicator says it would have been there. I'd be more inclined to say here, but just a personal preference thing. That's obviously a swing high. This was more of a consolidation run. We did have a little bit of a swing low there. So I'm going to call that for our range of the market. And with this market range being in place, taking us all the way to current, we've just now broken out of the top side. So the market has been hovering around in this range all morning. So it's really not made any significant movement. Made a very brief breakout to the downside. And off the brief breakout to the downside, the market made the push lower. We came right back up only 45 minutes later. And now we've broken out of the top. So we've broken the bottom, we've broken the top. And it's been a very sideways run in the last little bit. 918, we are looking for our next reversal in the market. 918 on the 3-minute is expected to push us back up. So 918 on the 3, yeah, it actually says that should be the beginning of a long move all the way into 11:12 tonight. So 918 this morning is going to be pretty significant time frame. Let's see what the market does. If we continue to pushing up into 918, good possibility we will get a pattern 5. We are already above prior structure high. And if the market continues to push up, we have resistance at 63.35. We are currently sitting on 15-minute resistance at 63.19 or 63.20. So 63.20 is 15-minute resistance. And, yeah, we'll see where the market ends up taking us. So, man, oh, man, oh, man. So good possibility we're going to end up with a pattern 5 here. Again, 918 is going to be the time. So we really have to kind of wait. As it is right now, we are inverted. So the market has closed 2 bars above the prior swing high, and we are favoring the long. So the 15 says short, the 60 says, or the 30 says short, the daily says short, the 15 or the 3-minute says we're going to go up. You wouldn't know it. So we don't have full agreement between all the time frames. 918 is going to be a key level for us. So we're going to watch closely as we're coming to 918 this morning. So 918 is going to be the next major one to watch. So right now I'm still looking for shorts on most, and I'm waiting for 918 to see what happens on the crude. So let's see what 918 gives us this morning. All right. So let's look over this today to the NQ, NASDAQ. See what the NQ is going to hold for us today. NQ over on the daily. Booyah. All right. NASDAQ, not quite the same condition as we've seen over on the ES and the YM. The NQ here We pulled down this big fat green level that I've got marked at the bottom. This level represents the yearly open. So that's where our yearly price opened, 65.93. Last week we pulled into a pattern 4, and as we came into a pattern 4 last week, there's a lower low, pattern 4, within 1 bar of the sell. There's the pull back up. We've been favoring longs off of this one for the last several days. Now, in the last 2 days, we've seen the market give us a pullback. So we've seen the market give us a pullback in the last 2 days. We are still above the open price line. The Orion signal also coming in there, and we are still above the Orion signal. So we have a small pullback down. Support is expected to hold at 68.12, and we're going to watch and see where the market goes. But as for right now, we are still favoring the long. We are below the moving average, so this is counter trend. We had the pattern 4. There's the pattern 4 move back up, and off the pattern 4, support should hold at 68.14. If the pattern 4 gets breached, if this price level down at 65.90, so 65.90, if we go below 65.90, then we will see this market drop really hard, because this is going to be a pattern 4 breakout. So we'll see where it goes. Big D, what's up, brother? Great to see you back, man. Hope you're doing great. So let's see where we're going to end up taking this thing. So we've pulled up into that pattern 4, or off the pattern 4, and we are still above the open price line of 68.13. So the NASDAQ, we are still looking for long today. Although we have had 2 pullback days, the daily says long anything above 68.14. Let's drop back down to the 60. So the daily says we should be looking for longs on the NQ. Let's look to the 60-minute. NASDAQ. Give me a second, guys. Let me find it. It's in the list here, but it didn't populate all of them. It's not that one. Might be that one. And it was. All right. Looking to the 60 on the NQ this morning. Where are we? Okay. Had a little switchback action. We inverted 12 o'clock to Wednesday last week. And off of Wednesday, we inverted the signal. Market pushed higher. We bounced off the open price line 1, 2, 3, 4 times. We saw coming into Thursday, we were favoring the longs. Market made that push higher. Coming into Friday, we did get a pullback down into the moving average, and the market's been sideways ever since. The prior swing low from before this signal is actually way down here, so it's like it's at the bottom. So we're still favoring the long. Market's had a hard time around the open price line, 69.62. We can see that it's hovered there most of the day yesterday. We came back this morning. We tested that same price level from the bottom side as recently as 10 o'clock last night. We hit it again this morning, finding resistance at 3 o'clock this morning. And we now have a reversal at 11 a.m. So this morning, we're back below the open price line here. We did invert the zone. I don't think this chart's helping me much. Not until 11 o'clock. 11 o'clock today, we're going to look for the push back up into 10 o'clock tomorrow morning. 10 o'clock tomorrow morning down to 4 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. So right now, we are so close to the end of the zone, and the market's been up. The market's had very little down. It was a little down yesterday, but not much after that. We are below the open price line. So right now, this chart is kind of a mixed bag. Because we did invert, again, it throws me off. So I don't know what these guys are going to do. I guess because we're below the open price line, I would have to be saying short. But again, when you invert, typically you invert for the remainder of the time. So this chart's not really that helpful to me at the moment. 11 o'clock is going to be a lot more helpful. Again, I only have 3 bars to close out my next move. And we'll see what the market does coming into 11 o'clock today. So 11 o'clock is going to be the next major turn on the market. So I don't really get a whole lot out of the 60 at the moment. So the 60 is not very helpful to me. Daily says long, 60 kind of on the side. Let's see if the 15 is any more helpful this morning. So on the 15, not really. Okay, so a little bit. 345 yesterday afternoon, and coming into 345 yesterday afternoon, the expectation was that we would see a move higher until 10 o'clock tomorrow morning. So we've got some time. If we look at the actual move of the market, we had the market put in a small swing high just before the signal, and the market did push higher. We found support on the open price line. We found support again coming into 3:30 this morning, where we dipped a little lower. According to the 15, as long as we stay above here, so as long as we're staying above 68, 65 and a quarter on the 15-minute, we are favoring the long. So the 15 is staying long. So daily's long, 15's long, 60 minutes, it's on the side. Let's see where the market's going to go. So 15 minutes says long over on the NQ. So NASDAQ looking for longs on 2 of the higher time frames. So we'll look for longs on those 2. Look down to the 1 minute. Let's see what the 1's going to show us today, and then we'll look over to the warp on the 8. All right, 8:21 this morning. Okay, coming into this morning into 8:21, we actually put in a pattern 4 this morning, and right there was our prior range of the market. One bar before the signal, the market put in a lower low. So we did end up with the lower low, 1 bar before the signal, and went extreme oversold. So we ended up with a pattern 4 off the power zone, small pullback up, and this one was below the moving average, and then we saw the market breach the pattern 4 there at 69.24, and off that breach, it only moved down another $2. Volatility is still going to be high today, but it moved a couple of dollars more down, and then we saw a major pullback up. So kind of a weird pattern here. Even off the major pullback, we have not violated the prior swing high. So by the technicality there, we would be looking for this. As long as the market doesn't go above 69.35 and a quarter, we're still favoring the short. Moving average is almost completely flat, so we're looking for short here right now over on the 1 minute. So the 1, not in agreement with the rest. Looking on 9:31. As we're coming through 9:30 today, 9:31, looking for the pullback up at 10 o'clock, 9:58, 9:59, back down to 10:17, and yuck, I got nothing. Off of 10:17, this is not going to help me one little bit. Till 10:34, maybe even there till 10:45. Not much time. 52, 56, 11:11. What a disaster. So back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. There's just nothing helpful in that. 11:17, we are going to be looking for a push up. 11:17, we'll look for a move up into 12:43. 40% chance we'll move lower into there. Hold on 1 second. All right, 12:43 this morning, junk. So NASDAQ 1 minute is messy, messy, messy today. Oof. All right, 210, off of 210, watch the move back up into 316, 338 up into 202. Man, 315 today, down to the close. So we have a couple of through basically 2 times today where we expect nice trending movement. The rest of the time, this chart is not very helpful. So just too much back and forth stuff. So I don't see a great deal of benefit to it at the moment. So we're going to watch closely. Now, here's the key. If we breach and close above 69.35 and a quarter, we would be looking for long until 9:30 if that occurs. All right, let's look back down. Crude. All right, crude looks as though it may, we have 918 on crude, and the 30-minute on crude may have just inverted. Interesting. All right, so generally favoring short, or generally, well, some are long, some are short on the NQ. 60 was on the precipice. 15 said long. Daily said long. Okay, so 2 higher time frames in agreement, 1 is not. Let's look to the ES and see if the ES is going to be any more helpful today than that. Okay, all right, ES. Again, day trades tomorrow at the moment. So EAS. All right, the big fat green line on my chart represents the yearly open. So anything above this line, the year itself is still in the green, and we've been finding quite a bit of support and resistance around that area. So the market pulled all the way back into the yearly open. $2,700 is the price to watch. Friday, we saw a pullback down and tested the yearly open just about to the penny. And we saw yesterday, we saw a very small pullback up inside bar to Friday's bar. Not really any significant price movement going on there. We closed our first bar, although it was a negative day, it was a positive day trade. We closed our first bar last Tuesday above the open price line. Therefore, we are still favoring the long in through today. Today will be our transition day over on the ES. So the ES, we are below the moving average, but based on the timing, we are still favoring the long. We did end up with that pattern 4 over on the ES, giving us a pullback up, and we'll see if the market's going to continue from there. We're above the controlling bar range, and let's watch for the continuation higher. So ES is still favoring the long here over on the daily. So ES daily looking for longs today. See if these boys are going to rally this market back or what. Let's drop down to a 60 today, and ES on a 6-day. Where is it? I know I have you here somewhere. No. 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 Daily. 15. 60. There it is. Took me a minute. So looking at the ES today on a 60. By the way, we're going to start setting these up on NT8, and I'm going to be using all the happy tabs that they give us to play with. Hopefully the prime will be ready by the end of the week for this market, or for the NT8, and if it is, I will be so happy. All right. We had a chop zone last week. This came in on last Wednesday at 9 o'clock in the morning. It's going to end today at 11. We are still on the long side. We inverted the move. Prior swing high in the market was there. Yeah. So there's our prior swing high. There's our prior swing low coming into the time of the chop zone exit. And the market closed 2 bars above the high. By closing 2 bars above the high, small pullback, continued back in the higher highs. We pulled back down into the moving average, and we are still above it. 60 is still staying long. We have had a pullback, and we are not at new structure highs right now. We'll see where the market is at 11 o'clock today. 11 o'clock, we are expecting to see a buy coming in at 11 o'clock, which is going to take us until 9 o'clock tomorrow morning. So keep a close eye out for this one. 11 o'clock this morning, watch for the move up into 9 o'clock tomorrow morning. And we'll see where the market ends up going. So we are favoring the long on the ES. So ES is long right now over on the 60 until 9 o'clock tomorrow. If we pull up into a brand new high, which I don't think we will, but if we are at a brand new high at 11 o'clock, that's going to change. But we'll watch and see where we go. I don't think we'll be that high. We look down to a 15. There we go. And if we're looking at the ES today on a 15, all right, 4:15 yesterday afternoon. The expectation was we would push up until 10:15 tomorrow morning. Off of 4:15 yesterday, the market pushed higher. It did manage to close one bar here, big pullback, back down, and then we pushed up again into 2:15 this morning, closing a higher high. So 15, we put a slightly higher high in, major pullback off of that one. The swing low that we will have to reference right now is nowhere near, so we're nowhere near our swing low. Swing low is coming back in at 27.17, and right there is the bracket. So we are favoring the long right now. We're about halfway into it. We're sitting on the moving average, which is flat. Anything today above 27.17, we are still favoring the long. So ES 15 minutes says long. Okay. So looking for long on the 60, looking for long on the daily, looking for long on the 15. We will now drop down to the 5. Let's see what the 5 says. Usually the 5 will guide our day. It's usually the best one. Oh, look at the morning. That's a lot of signals for the 5. Very choppy. We came out of a chop zone at 2 o'clock this morning on the 5-minute chart. The expectation was we would see a move lower into 925. As we exited the chop zone, the market did punch up for 2 bars and then roll right back over again. So coming out of this time frame this morning, we had a prior swing already in place. We inverted early, 1-2 bars up, fake out, only in time to make the move back down. As soon as we closed back below the swing low again here, we were back to the short side, and we've been short now all the way into our current time frame. So little volatility there right at the open. They tried to make their mind up, nothing doing. Market rolled it back down to 925. We are still below the moving average right now, although we are close to it. Coming into 925 this morning, we do have a power zone buy signal. We are expecting to see that move up for the first few minutes, 925 and a 1005, 1005 down to 1045. So we get another 40 minutes there, 1045 and 1155. That's still a lot of 5-minute signals, but we'll watch our 30-second chart through there and see what we can find to play with. Off of 1210 today, from 1210 back up into, 1210 is going to be a little on the ugly side. 1210 and 1255, junk. Going to end up with a chop zone here. We're going to have a chop zone here. Looks like at late afternoon we do get a rally back up. 60% chance of that starting at around 145. So 145, we have a 60% shot that will push up into 335, and off of 335, watch for the move back down into the close that last half hour. So for the morning, we have 1, 2, 3 turns. So we're going to be watching closely, and we'll see where the market ends up taking us. 925. I would like to see the market stay below 27.36 into 925. If it will do that, if the market will stay below there, then we will get a breakout trade long at 925. If the market pushes up, and if at 920, 925, or 930, if any of those 3, unfortunately it does encompass the open, but if any of those 3 is sitting at or above 27.36, that will be a pattern 5, in which case we will be looking for a short. So 940 would then give us, or 935 would then give us a breakout trade of the pattern 5 back above. So it looks like 935 this morning, unless we get a pullback down from now into 935, that's going to be the level to watch. So it looks like 935 is going to be our time to watch for a breakout here. So we'll see what happens. We're entering the 3-bar window after this bar. So we've still got 3 minutes to close it, but we'll see where we go. So 925 up until 1005. Hopefully we don't get a pattern 5 here. We'll see. It might. All right. So we'll switch over to the 8 platform. So let's shut this one down. All right, let's let 8 get loaded up. Take it just a second. Good morning, Paramagie. Welcome back this morning. Okay. So crude 918 is coming. We're coming into a buy at 918. So watch for a pull down into 918 and we'll look for that push higher again. Let all the charts get loaded up here. 925 on the ES. And dropping down now to the warp. 920. Still loading. Give it a second. And there's our 30-second chart. Yeah, it's still loading up. All right.